All right, guys. We got a quick live with Easton Patton. Easton is coming off of, just for record after record month when it comes to team and just overall income, and not just income for himself, income for his team. Because if he's breaking records, that means there's people on his team who are making more money than ever. And I believe that there's some things that they're doing, lead wise, expectation wise, their understanding of leads, how many to get, how to work for them, I believe is why they have the highest average per agent in the company. And if you're like, well, I want to know what they know, I'm like, so do I. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna reach out to Easton because I saw a post the other day that, and one thing I love about it is that everybody shares everything. There's no secrets. He could be like, well, hey dude, there's these $2.50 leads and I'm just going to keep it on the low. And I don't want to let people know that they actually work, but he wrote 21, correct me if I'm wrong, Easton, 21 grand off of age leads. And some of them were like 8, 9, 10 years old. And I know I may have been, we don't talk about them enough. We may be like, oh, well, they're cheap, so they're not good. Or so can you educate us, man, on how these age leads come to us, what you're seeing, how to work them, how many you need, and how to really get ahead in this business? Because a lot of folks go, man, I want to do mortgage, but man, those things are expensive or it's a little complicated. So I'm just going to stick here because internet life leads are, hey, they need life insurance, yes or no, I'm in and I'm out. And mortgage leads, not so much like that, but when you understand it, dude, your world changes. And from a $2.50 lead to a $60 lead, Easton can tell you once you get there, they're all the same. So Easton, man, I'm gonna turn it over to you, bro. I appreciate you hopping on. I know you're busy, dude, ton of stuff going on, man. But if you could just enlighten us with what you've been seeing with these leads and your team, man, we'd appreciate it.
Dude, 1,000,000%. Appreciate you giving me a shout. And I think like everybody else, that there's always a big piece of belief in there where it's like, I mean, how good could they really be? They're $250 a pop. And I had talked to Zach about this a ton. And Jake, and then one of the guys that I work with, Kevin, he told me that he hasn't purchased a new lead since he's been at the company, and his record month is 86,000, right? Never purchased a new lead at the company. Everything is discount second chance CRM. So I'm like, okay, well, I actually like having a mix of new, 1 month and then super age leads like we're getting now with the $2.50 ones. So I've always been a huge lead mix person, period. And I think having a lead mix of brand new direct mail final expense, access to internet leads, access to these new second chance $2.50 leads is a massive game changer for our company because it allows you to get in front of people who, and I can't tell you how many people said, I have no idea what you're talking about because nobody ever came and saw me. And I have to send them a picture of the form, bring it with me to the appointment. And they're like, dude, this is 2011. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I'm sorry that you guys got missed. And there's been some, sad conversations in there, like, hey, loss of a spouse in the meantime. Like, can you imagine the impact it would have had if I'd have been out there sooner? I wasn't around 10 years ago doing it. But let's not pretend like these people still don't need the help. And I think one thing that I do understand is it's a $2.50 lead that's somewhere between 3 and 10, 11 years old. So I got to get a ton of them. Right. So I'm not shy about loading up on them, and I use them as a lead filler, as a lead mix lead. I don't just get 350 every single dial date, and that's all that I work, period. It's part of my lead mix because there's a massive amount of profitable opportunity in there and tons of families that got missed. So I understand that I need to get a bunch of them, that some people are going to have houses paid off. They don't live there anymore. Some of the numbers are bad because they, when they filled them out that they were 81. And so now some of the couples have both passed on. Like there's a ton of scenarios that you're going to run into, but if you have a couple hundred of them, I'm just trying to get, 10 sets over 2 days out of them. So I bought, 102 separate counties, and I ran 5 one day and 5 the next day. And I also, just happened to have like a pretty solid weekend anyway, but I did 37.5 grand over a weekend, and 21 of it was on age $2.50 leads. And I think the question that I get the most since I put that up the last couple of days is like, how are you actually talking to the clients to get them to let you in the home? And so I just let them know, like, hey, I'm the field underwriter here. I'm in charge of all your eligibility stuff. It's calling you back about this mortgage protection form that you guys had filled out and mailed in. It looks like a while back. right? And we just did an internal audit, and it looks like that you guys were missed or just overdue for review. And so what I'm going to do is schedule you guys in for tomorrow. Are you still at the 123 Main Street house? And then it's just figuring out if they're working, retired, disabled, spouse still in the equation, confirming date of birth so that they have some kind of memory piece where I'm literally looking at a physical form they mailed in a long time ago. I think that little pieces like that and just having a slow conversation on the phone where I don't do quick sets, because that's not going to do you any good. The lead's 10 years old, and understand that it's going to take a little bit longer because they don't all, it wasn't filled out online yesterday and it wasn't filled out in the mail 2 weeks ago. So I take a little bit of extra time and explain, hey, we did an internal audit and you guys were picked up as missed, incomplete, due for review. And so what I'm going to do, Dom, is I'm going to get this eligibility information finally out to you guys. Are you still working, retired, disabled? What's your situation? And then everything else is a normal appointment. And then when you get in front of them, you know what objection I'm not going to get? Hey, we just moved into the house. I need to go over my budget. Hey, I need some time to think about it. Like, how are you possibly going to get that objection? It's been 5-10 years since they filled the stuff out and asked for the help. So that's never something that you're going to run into. And it's something that's really simple to overcome if you do get into a situation where that's a primary objection that you bump into. Does that make sense?
Dude, I just had an epiphany. Retro leads are bomb. Like, I love retro leads. Like, if I could get all $80 retro leads, I would. Okay. But we're creating our own retro leads for $2.50. We pay for them to drop the mail and do all this stuff, which is totally fine. But we have $2.50 retro leads in inventory that if you just take that approach, let them know that, yes, it was a while ago, no quick sets. So if you're like, well, if you watch my phone training or any of the new lead phone trainings, you're going to be like, it's not going to work with those leads. You know what I mean? Because you're going to set yourself up for a lot of, like, it is 8-9 years ago. They may have just moved. There's a lot of things that if you just know it, you're good. So you said once you get to the house, there's no difference, right? What is there any difference? Oh, I know you didn't say it, but is there any difference once you get to the house? Or do they already have policies? Are you running into a lot of replacements or anything like that?
Yeah, so I haven't ran into anybody that has had it yet that I've booked. Nobody. So I've got somebody that have like a small final expense plan from 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. That's not what I'm there for. So when I do bump into people with insurance, that has nothing to do with their mortgage protection on the house, nothing. So I haven't run into anybody that has it, that's already got a cash back in place, that has a living benefit plan, or has any insurance at all, for the most part. So when I get there, I bring the form and I show them like, hey, I have no idea why you guys were missed or what happened. But here's the request that you guys sent in. And typically I just get this in to make sure that if one or both of you pass away, like the other person's going to be okay financially in the house. And that's immediately sparks a why. They start explaining, hey, this makes a ton of sense. Maybe I don't remember filling it out, but this is exactly what that I would be looking for, because the situation that we're in now is if I'm gone, the wife's in a bad spot, or if she's gone, I can't stay in here. Like, there's always going to be a direction that I can take them. And again, there's no way that they didn't just move into the house,
Right.
You guys have obviously had tons of time to probably try to find something like this. So I'm sure you guys have spent a few years thinking about this, and you're just setting it all up to get rid of all the objections that you would ever get anyway. And it's just a commitment, dude.
Yeah, you're not going to get, I just moved in, I don't know my bills. There's another agent, I have an appointment tomorrow. You're not going to have that. So there's so many things that you won't get on the back end that if you just understand the front end, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, dude. Have you talked to any agents about traveling, or maybe not even traveling, but virtual sales using these leads?
Oh, 100% have, because it's the same exact concept of setting an appointment with them. And then I've physically texted or emailed the forms over to them to confirm an appointment time and why I'm reaching out. And then after that, I would encourage everybody to be plugged into the virtual platform, and Vivian's and Ginger's in-home presentation that they do virtually. It is money. I am horrible at that stuff, so please don't reach out and ask me. I can't do it. because I haven't taken time to learn how to do it, right? And I love the face-to-face stuff, and I'm in a position where I can do that. So I will probably always do that as long as I can physically, right? Don't got a bunch of kids at the house, and I'm physically able to go out, and I love that part of what we do. So if you are in a spot where you love the virtual and the telesales, dude, the platform is going to be insane. The amount of people that are going to come over here to be able to get an opportunity to run $2.50 mortgage protection leads that no one else is going to be calling or getting a hold of. It's a massive success train for all the new agents.
Dude, it excites me, man, and to see somebody of your caliber working all lead types. I think one of the biggest things that we've been missing is diversifying our lead mix. I know when Facebook leads came out, we got really excited about Facebook leads, and then everybody was only running Facebook and go, oh, well, I need some other leads. And then internet leads come out, and it's like, well, I can, and you're spending $1,000, $2,000 on your leads every single week. You're just not diversifying your lead mix. So can you tell, let's end with this. What does diversity do for not only your outcome, but your mental well-being and your clientele and things like that? You with me?
Yeah, it gives you a chance to learn every single part of the business. That's what slowed me down on part of my start, because I was so fixated because I finally learned how to do Facebook final expense leads. I didn't want to have anything to do with any other lead type for 9 straight months. I was like, I got this now. I don't want to have to mess with anything else. And I was not giving myself an opportunity to learn kind of the entire business. So once I understood, having plenty of conversations about it, I finally dove into, okay, I need to get some direct mail, because the time fact is it's going to take phone time down, because they hand filled it out and mailed it in. So then you can get, 5, 10, 15, 20 of those a week. Then you can incorporate second chance internet leads. You can incorporate the CRM, Facebook final expense leads that we have in there now. And it gives you a chance to hit every part of the business and learn every type of sale that you're going to run into. And it's really all about the same, dude, to be honest. Most of the appointments, they just need an understanding of why, and they need some structure. Outside of that, there's not a ton of unique strategy going on when you set these appointments, but it allows you to keep the business really, really fun and enjoyable, because you get to see anywhere from sitting outside on a patio to walking into a $1 million mansion. I get to see everything, and so it keeps it really, really fun to run for me because of the different clientele that I get to see on a daily basis. And it kind of keeps you sharp, and it keeps it exciting to be able to have a really good lead mix. Keeps me out in the field. And that's the favorite part of what we do, is getting to go sit and help the clients.
And diversifying your lead mix diversifies your clientele. And you said it keeps you excited. You know what I mean? You don't know when you're out there in the field and you kind of get in this rut of oh, I know what's coming. That's when you start not making sales, you start pressing, you start expecting negative things to happen. Expecting, oh, well, they're just not going to have a bank account. Oh, well, they're just going to, oh, I'm over here again. Oh, or on the other end, man, another gated community, man, another one, man, you just can't have you can't have one of everything or all of one thing. And diversifying your lead mix, man, is massive. Using these age leads to do it, catapult yourself, dude, is a big deal. And what you've learned, Easton, this is your second or third year? Third year?
My second year wrapped up in April. I'm almost 2.5 years in. As of end of October, it'll be 2.5 years. Man,
well, in 2.5 years, bro, you touched every type of lead. You've done every type of, clientele. I don't think there's anything new that you're going to see out there. And I say that to let everybody know who's watching this, that this isn't they say it takes 10 years to become an expert or something. I'm like, I don't know about insurance. You know what I mean? An expert isn't you know it all. Expert is I can dial it in and get a result. Does that make sense? And what you're doing now in 2.5 years, man, anybody who's watching this can come on here and do the exact same thing. All right. And they can do it even faster. Zach, being an integrity partner, 26 years old, is only just starting the realm. We'll have somebody 22 years old get a license when they're 18. And then when they get their first drink, they'll be an integrity partner. How crazy is that? Like you're
Wild.
like, yeah, it's going to happen. And it's because of guys like you, dude. So I appreciate you taking the time out of your day, man, to help us out. And everybody's tune in. Age Mortgage Leads, 30% off right now. All direct mail leads are 30% off. If you're watching this after the sale is made, there's probably going to be another sale coming up. Buckle up. All right. Later, Easton. Appreciate you, dude.
You got it.